And welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that lovely brutal OST as we've returned. We've returned here with our next series, with our winners match here between ByuN and Trigger. Let's go. Trigger was able to take down Scarlet. ByuN took down Hero. And now we have our two top players facing off in the winners match. The winner will advance on to the playoffs. The loser will be knocked down to the decider match to have another chance to make it through. Let's go. Game 1 is going to be on Winter Madness. Let us go. So as we are setting up. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Winter Madness, we have the Canadian Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss. Oh, the blue Protoss representing Basilisk. It is a Trigger. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have the South Korean Terran player, the red Terran representing Shopify. It is a ByuN. Here we go. We are going to be jumping in again. ByuN showcasing an incredible display of a TvP there, building up into a longer mid game. But again, a lot of it came down to the early game aggression, to be able to shut down the aggression of Hero. More importantly, shut it down, mass expand, build up to 3, 4, 5 bases, and then embrace that late game setup. We'll see if ByuN can get there again. Meanwhile, we'll see how Trigger will adjust his approach. We shall see. As ByuN moves out with the initial SCV and is setting up for what looks to be an eBay block. So cheeky move here by ByuN. We do bring this up all the time, but eBay blocks are even stronger on some of these maps like Winter Madness and like the Old Republic. SCV moves in, but Trigger's already in position. Oh, he's wise to this. The eBay block is attempted. eBay block is denied. Oh my god, can he get it? Oh, barely can. Barely can, but the boy's already being pulled, and Trigger, he will shut this down real fast and real quick. So again, a clean response here by Trigger. Winding it back, the reason why these eBay blocks work better or are stronger here on maps like Winter Madness is because of the third base options. There's only one. There's only one third base option, so it's very common, and we actually saw this last night as well, between Cure and Hero. But if you can, between Cure and Max, I should say. But if you can get your eBay up and running here at the natural, then you can patrol your SCV at the triangular third location, and you can force the low ground expansion out of the Protoss player. This is possible on a map like Winter Madness, also possible on the Old Republic as well. Just because specifically on those two maps, there is not an ideal second option for an expansion. Second third base option, I should say. But here Trigger, he scouts ahead of time, he shuts it down, and Trigger does have a cleaner early game. So far so good. So far so good. Oh, as the scouting probe gets caught, nice catch. Ideally, the probe goes back in to confirm whether or not there's an expansion, checking on Trigger's vision. Trigger, he did not get into the main. He's not aware of the build. He's not aware of the build. We can see it's a racked expand, economic opener, a safer variation as ByuN does go for the high ground CC, but economic overall, and Trigger is unaware. Behind this, going for a stack of choice, going to be a Twilight Council opener out of Trigger. So just catching up with the chat. Tactical Mindscape, got any insights on how to manage short-term tilt and long-term tilt for us ladder grinders? How do you think these pros handle tilt management? I think that's a really good thing to try to interview pro players about, just because, I mean, it's different. It's different for everyone, I would imagine, right? Like different players, different personality types have different ways of handling stress and dealing with that sort of thing. Like I know that I myself am a little bit more unique in how I handle that sort of thing as well, or how I don't handle it. Like like you got like the extremes, right? You got like Artosis, who like anything happens and he flips out, and and it's almost like he has like this pent up aggression and pent up rage inside him, and he uses StarCraft as like an outlet to express that and to, you know, alleviate all that pressure before he like goes crazy. Like but like you have an extreme like Artosis, or like for me, for example, like I guess the more you know about a game, like the more you can rationalize and understand a loss and like take that in and learn from that and grow from that. So you can take a loss and like kind of understand mistakes you made, what you can do better, what you can do, what went wrong, what went right, and just approach it that way, instead of like, I don't know, there are some people that like handle anger and handle tilts in a worse manner, where like they blame their opponents, or they blame balance, or they blame like race, like it's, and I feel like that is and that's like a really easy way to cope, right? Like that's a coping mechanism where the person that does that, they just want to deflect and push blame onto something else that isn't on them, right? So they're pushing blame onto balance, pushing blame onto their opponent, pushing blame onto whatever. That's a really easy way to like cope with anger, and that's why it's so common, but that's also why it's not very healthy, right? Like it's not but there are like some people that do that. Yeah, I would say that it'd be nice to get like a good sample size of like different answers from different pros, just because I'm sure they approach things in different ways, right? And everyone's different. I know there are some pros that like there are some infamous examples of like Clem, for example, like smashing his desk and stuff like that, but like reasoning for that can be like, you know, that you can do better, and you know that you can execute a build a little bit better, but like you know, in these high pressure situations, like sometimes like you're unable to, and that can be frustrating as well. It's just, it would be good to get a big sample size. For now though, Trigger does poke in. So far it's trading well. The bunker was delayed, so greedy move here by ByuN. Going to be delaying and skipping that bunker. It gets punished, bleeding out how many Marines? 9 Marines go down. Heavy losses here for ByuN. At the same time, going for his own mine drop. It does drop in. It does not get the shot off though. Good reactions by Trigger. Oh my god. Trigger, he shuts down the mine drop. He punishes the Marines across the map, and he contains ByuN. So far Trigger, he's had a relatively clean early game. Pent up rage of not having a... Artosis is married with kids. What are you talking about? What? Oh, no. What? For now, we aren't going to be backing up. From here, Trigger is taking up in towards Colossus. So Colossus are amassing, charge on the way. Never blame your ass on the other players' race. True. Unironically, it's quite common amongst, I feel like, the regular populace. I feel. Balance is what I'm referring to, of course. For now, ByuN, he's been building up. Behind this, going for a third CC. He's just building up. He's going to be expanding behind this, getting into his own mid-game. But again, Trigger, he has had a decent start, you know, gaining map control, shutting down the aggression. From here, Trigger should soon be expanding. I will say his fourth base is a little bit late. Oh, but there's a reason for that. Okay, we see why the fourth base is being delayed, because Trigger is pushing. He's committing here very hard. The Prism has arrived. He's not expanding. Why is he not expanding? 3 base all in. 3 base all in. We have how many gateways? We have 8 gateways behind this. It's going to be 3 base 8 gate all in. No gases here at the third base. Only 1 gas at the natural. We have more Zealot Warpins, and the goal here is to break the third. Tanks are exposed. You can see ByuN is being dragged out into the open. Ay. Yeah, he gets dragged out. Tanks are exposed. They're going to go down one after the other. Trigger, he out positions. And without those tanks, ByuN, I'm not so sure he can hold on. Ooh, Zealot Saber extend. We need the Colossus. We need the Colossus. Get in there. Yeah, Colossus a little bit far back, but Zealot overwhelmed the Bio army. Marines going down, Marauders going down, and Trigger, he's going for the kill. He can push into the natural. For now, distracted. For now, he's distracted. Raven harassed at the natural base. Drop in towards the third. Trigger, he does turn around. Turns around with some army, but keeps pushing in. And again, he has broken ByuN. Catching on the Marines, the Marauders, boys are being pulled, and Marauders flanking the Colossus. Very nice around. It does catch the Colossus. Despite that though, heavy losses, and the Warpins, they continue. They just keep going in. And with that Trigger, he's able to just catch ByuN out. Again, a hyper-aggressive build, winding it back after the cleaner early game out of Trigger. He was able to execute a 3 base all-in, and going for the 8 rank, sorry, the 8 gate, I should say. The other one. And ByuN, he was caught with the pants were down, Pappy. He was caught with his pants down. At the same time, we get 16 probe kills. I mean, the Raven harass, the drop play is nice, but that's going to be 32 SCVs going down for ByuN. The economy is crippled. Trigger catching out the Vikings. Takes down both. Yeah, both Vikings go down. Trigger did still has a Colossus, but did lose his War Prism. So Prism did go down. And ByuN, he is hanging on. He's holding on back at home. At least until reinforcements arrive. That's Trigger's bringing everything together. Thankfully, there's no War Prism this time, so reinforcements are going to be delayed for Trigger. But he's still just out trading. Yeah, he's still out trading. GG gets called, and Trigger takes game number 1. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Trigger takes the lead in the series. Again, Trigger was able to shut down the early pushes, the early drop play, punish the Marines as well, punish ByuN for being greedy and skipping the bunker, even getting SCV damage across the map, and with that just snowballing out of control. Unfortunately, ByuN, he wasn't able to identify the all-in, otherwise he should not have been out there. Winding it back, if you recall, ByuN, he was distracted by the Zealots, and it was dragged out towards the right-hand side, exposing his tanks and exposing himself as well. But a big reason for that is that ByuN, he didn't identify the mass amount of gateways, lack of gases, lack of fourth base, or a couple of tells here and there, and ByuN was just unaware. ByuN was unaware. And GG, well played. And with that, we're going to be getting into game number 2. Going to be loading into 10,000 feet. Let's go. Let us go. Spawning in the top left-hand corner of 10,000 feet, we have the Canadian Protoss player. We have the blue Protoss representing Basilisk, leading the series 1-0. It is a Trigger. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of 10,000 feet, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the the Red Terran for Shopify. It is ByuN. Oh, let's go. I'm a Zerg guy, but it's hard not to cheer for ByuN. I mean, yeah, there's I mean, I'm very much so in the camp of like, I'm a Zerg player. I think I'm a fan of more Protosses and Terrans than Zerg players at the moment. Like, but like this, you know, there's just some good players out there, good personalities as well. Like ByuN is very charismatic, very wholesome. You know, his journey, of course. Like, how can you not get behind it? I would say very similar to player to ByuN is Oliveira. Like, I feel like Oliveira is similarly, because of the underdog story, like, and because he's very humble. I think that's another big aspect. Both ByuN and Oliveira are a little bit more humble at times. Definitely easy to like get behind them and cheer for them. Feels bad, man, for Oliveira. Feels bad, man. Este Oliveira. There we go. And also, of course, an amazing player. Like when it comes to the control, when it comes to the micro. But I think their personalities help with that as well. As this time ByuN comes in with the eBay block. This time successful. If you recall, ByuN attempted this in game 1, but Trigger did deny it. Here in game 2, we see ByuN forcing the unnatural natural. Okay. Now, when it comes to this position here, it's going to be more open, more exposed, and ByuN can go for a factory follow-up, but nah, he's going for the CC. Okay, so we have a standard economic follow-up here, but ByuN can turn this into a 2-base all-in and try to break down this expansion. Again, this base is much more exposed, it's much more vulnerable, much more open, and we'll see if it leads into 2-base aggression from ByuN to try to punish this. So now ByuN scouting left-hand side, checking for proxies. You know, if we're talking about fans of players, always patience fan. Always, Pappy, always. Este patience. One day. Speaking of 2-base aggression, yep, we do have it. As you can see here, we have not just one rank, so we have 1, 2, 3 ranks. This is going to be a very strong, a very hefty 2-base stim timing. Going to be a 2-base stim timing here, rushing into stim, rushing into combat shields. This will hit very hard, it'll hit very strong, and it's on Trigger to scout this, to react, and to respond. It's going to be a difficult defense for Trigger, but not impossible, if he can scout. Stim is already on the way. So ByuN, he's massing up his Marines as we speak, building up his bio. He will be committing, bearing in mind this will hit pre-medevacs, so there's no medevacs. It does mean that when he does push out, every stim does count. It's going to be killing him, so he has to hold on and preserve those stims. That's also why it's important for Trigger to engage ahead of time to try to force early stims. As Trigger does go for 2 more gateways, going into 3-gate blink. A relatively safe start. We'll see if he goes for a robo as well. As Trigger, he doesn't see much. He only sees Mass Marine. For all Trigger knows, this could be a 2-on-1. Right? This could be a 2-on-1 variation, which are a little bit rare in TvP, but not unheard of. As up to shade in. Does run into more Marines. Trigger doesn't quite get confirmation though. And here comes ByuN. ByuN is built up to 13 Marines so far. We have a couple of Marauders on the way. Trigger is getting a safety robo. So he has the production set up. 3 gateways in a robo. Blink will finish up as well. But can Trigger pull this off? As here comes ByuN. So far he's moving out unscouted. True. Oh, Trigger, he's expanding. He does have a safety battery. No, he blinks in. Oh god, he's just blinked forward. He does spot the army. Thankfully, he wasn't punished. Trigger, he was not punished. There's first stim. Trigger blinks away. Blinks away. Baited the stim out. No damage, though. Doesn't kill a single unit. And ByuN backs off. Yeah, ByuN, he backs off. He wasted the first stim. Trying to lure the army out into the open. He can maybe stim on top of the ramp. But he pulls away. He pulls away, and this big stim timing falls on its face. Behind this, going for the factory, eventually into starport, eventually into medevacs. But Trigger, he survived the timing. Oh. And Trigger gets away with his third. Okay. He gets away with it. Catching out 3 stalkers. Ooh, as Trigger gets punished, brutal blink, losing 1, 2, 3, 4, oh, and losing every single stalker. And now it's go time. Now it's go time. Trigger, he does overextend. Massive blunder here for Trigger, getting caught out, and ByuN can just pull the trigger. He can send everything across the map. His army is still very battered and bruised from all the stimming he's been doing. That is true. But he has a lot of damage output back at him. What is it to defend? Again, Trigger, he lost 8 stalkers. There's only 4 left. Again, that was the majority of his army. Losing almost another. ByuN stims in. Again, he's a little bit overstimmed. Can he break through? Charge is not yet done. 4 seconds away. Tries to get on top of the Immortal. Immortal goes down. Nice pickoff, but the Marines are overstimmed. And Trigger does barely hold on. Yeah, just Jesus. ByuN stims away. The army deep in the red. Trigger, I'm sure, tempted to chase, but doesn't quite commit. Yeah, it doesn't quite commit in the end. And again, it's been a very chaotic game here. Do you see what I say? Okay, 3rd CC. 3rd CC is now finishing, so ByuN is expanding. Trigger claiming a 4th base as ByuN gets a 3rd. A well-timed 4th base for Trigger. And after a very intense early game, we're getting into the mid game. Who do we favor here? It's still very difficult. Like, losing all those stalkers was brutal. It means that Trigger has less map control. It means that Trigger can't really threaten the bases or threaten any kind of counterattack. At least not right now, not with a low stalker count. So ByuN is free. ByuN is free to expand, gain control of the map, and be active. ByuN does try to commit in. Trading with the army. So far they're holding their own. They're holding their own. Nice swipes with the Colossus. Nor does they try to stem in. They try to stem forward. Trigger barely keeping up. He needs more zealots though. Does need more charge lots. But again, ByuN still maintains map control. Trigger still trying to recover. And it'll be some time. Trigger still has to refine his army, get into more splash damage, Storm, or second Robo into Disruptors. We have the answer. It's going to be Storm. Storm is on the way. But this map, it's so difficult to try to slow the game down. This map is just so small. It takes so little time to get across the map. ByuN has momentum. Going for the second starport, going to Mass Vikings. That's going to be his answer for the Colossus. Building up his Viking count. 4th CC is on the way. We mentioned in the previous series just the strengths of this map, and expanding and building up on 4 bases is quite easy here on 10,000 feet. I don't see Trigger stopping ByuN. And we mentioned something during ByuN series versus Hero, but typically the Protoss player wants to be denying the 4th and denying the 5th base. I don't see that happening here on 10,000 feet though. Like ByuN, I can see him expanding quite freely. ByuN zones away. Zones back the army. Again, both players are building up. We're soon to max out. ByuN building up into Viking Ghost. Trigger building up into Colossus Storm. Traditionally, the Protoss player should be having more bases so they can afford to be a little bit more wasteful with their zealots and rebuild and replenish them. But Trigger isn't there yet. He's not there. Doesn't have the greater economy. So we have to favor ByuN. Oh, EMP goes off. Nice EMP. First Colossus goes down as well, and ByuN, he will dominate this fight. Catching a Colossus, catching a High Templar. ByuN is maxed. ByuN rotates over towards the 4th base. Again, we need these storms to connect. There's 6 High Templar. First EMP lands. Oh, that's a double storm. Heavy storm counts. Another EMP on the High Templar. And there's still 2 storms left. Oh, lands 1. Yeah, 1 storm zones, 1 more storm coming in. EMPs land. Oh god, that was the final storm. Do we have an energy overcharge? Oh god. Yeah, ByuN has done it. ByuN, he's done it. He's breaking through. No storms remaining, no Colossus either. He sims in. Breaks through the Immortals. There's only a Gateway army left, and they cannot hold their own. Not like this. Not against the ByuN army. Boys are being pulled. Trigger getting desperate. But GG gets called. Trigger is broken, and ByuN ties up the series 1-1. Whew, GG. GG, well played. Again, Trigger, after the early game aggression, it was a very chaotic back and forth. But again, Trigger, he didn't have map control. He didn't have the bases, didn't have the economy. Could not keep up with the quality of the army of ByuN. GG. GG, well played. ByuN did snowball from there. I was a little bit concerned that ByuN had maybe overextended when it came to his ByuN army, but no, it's fine. He was still trading well for himself and still was able to maintain that lead. GG. GG, well played. With that, we are getting into game number 3. Going to be loading into the ace match. Let's go. It all ends here. It all ends on White Rabbit. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of White Rabbits, we have the blue Protoss player, himself. We have the Canadian Protoss representing Basilisk, being forced into the ace match. It is a Trigger. and spawning. Spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the red Terran player. We have the South Korean Terran for Shopify. It is ByuN. Let's go. Let us go. So we find ourselves here in the ace match. Coming into game 3, we'll see who's going to be the aggressor. I mean, now we're loading into a much larger map. So like, at least as a bit of a generalization, we do favor Terran on smaller maps. As you just saw in the last game, Trigger, he had no room to breathe. He could not mass expand. He could not gain map control. He couldn't buy time to build up a greater economy. It's difficult to do that on 10,000 feet. Meanwhile, on White Rabbit, a much larger map in the map pool, longer rush distance by ground, more space, more open areas here, just more room to work with. Typically, it is easier for the Protoss player to gain map control and mass expand. Typically, generally. So the pressure is going to be on ByuN to be more aggressive early on. To be more aggressive, to be more active. For the first time this series, there is no eBay block. Instead, there's a pro block, and the Trigger does delay. It delays the expansion for a couple of seconds, forcing some inefficiencies out of ByuN before pulling out. As ByuN is going for a more economic build, going for a Rax expand. So economic open out of ByuN. This can still lead into 2-base aggression. I would still say that 2-base all-ins are not as favorable here on White Rabbits. They can work, especially if unscouted. They can catch players off guard. But otherwise, we expect a longer game. ByuN did a good job luring and killing Stalkers. Yes, that was the moment where ByuN kind of gained control of the map and gained control of the game. We mentioned at the time that as soon as it was 8 Stalkers, if you remember. It was 8 Stalkers getting caught out. As soon as that happened, Trigger was stuck at home, right? And he couldn't apply pressure. He couldn't delay the 3rd base or delay the 4th base or keep ByuN contained or even chip away at the army. True, that was like a big moment when everything kind of swung in favor for ByuN. It allowed for a very comfortable mid-game. For now though, Twilight Council opener at a Trigger. Most likely headed towards Blink. We'll keep an eye on the gateways. Again, on White Rabbit, there's a very high chance that Trigger is able to get a faster 3rd base. And goes for a greedier build. Stalkers they poke in. Nothing to kill. As the Hellion does get behind the middle line and does confirm the Twilight Council. Does confirm the council. Ooh, Trigger miscontrols, losing a Stalker. That should not have happened. Yeah, Trigger, he was inattentive. He was focusing on the Hellion. And ByuN was able to capitalize on that inattentiveness. On that distraction. Trigger, yep, he's going for the faster 3rd. I believe 2-gate. Yep, 2-gate blink. 2-gate blink into a 3rd, into a follow-up robo. So a very greedy economic build. Oh, losing another Stalker. Oh my god. Another Stalker goes down. Massive losses early on here. It doesn't sound like a lot, but Trigger, he just lost 2 Stalkers. He only has 3 left. Like this early on, you don't have much of an army. Every unit counts. ByuN getting across the map. Gotta be zoned away. Gotta be zoned back. Regardless, nice little wins here for ByuN. Getting to zone 1-1 follow-up. Early Raven for Raven harass. There's no Banshee play. There's no Widowmine drop. ByuN does scout the timing of the 3rd base. He knows. He now knows it was a greedier build. And that can prompt a move out. We'll see. But now the Raven moves out. Tanks are amassing. ByuN going to be checking gases, checking saturation. The Raven is moving in. And for now, the game is slowing down. The game is slowing down. Trigger building up towards Colossus. The Bay is on the way. Observer does spot the move outs. Trigger, he knows. Stalkers, they move in position. Oh, ByuN spots. Nice, got them. Oh no! Yeah, ByuN does catch the Observer. Cyclone gets caught as well. So we have a bit of a back and forth. And we have that back and forth. Auto turret into the main. Catching on 3 probes. Raven even survives. Not bad. And we are just macroing up out of this. Okay, so ByuN, he's not committing on 2 bases. Third CC is on the way. Risky maneuver here by ByuN, but remember, he knows he killed the Observer. The Observer got sniped, so ByuN moves out undetected. Otherwise, typically, Trigger would see this because the Observer and would punish it. Medevac is looking for a way across. ByuN does unload. There are some zealots at the third base, thankfully, so Trigger, he has an army in position. He shouldn't really take many losses. And Marines, they stem in. Plenty of zealots, and does force a pickup. Despite that, that's still going to be 3 probe kills to the Raven. The Raven is still alive. Trigger, he's trying to hunt down that drop. And ByuN can soon expand. As for now, we're just posturing. We're just posturing, poking, prodding. Building up into the mid-game. ByuN's being active. As he moves out, he can expand and claim his third. Oh no! Ooh, as a Medevac gets caught out. Massive pickoff. That's going to be a full Medevac going down. A nice catch from Trigger. It is a nice catch, but at the same time, Trigger, he does not spot the push. He doesn't see the army. He doesn't see ByuN coming. ByuN catching a Stalker. Gets 1. Gets 2. 2 Stalkers go down. At the same time, Prism into the main base. We're going to get rowdy. Ooh, massive tank shots. Tank volleys on the Stalkers. Mine shots going up on the Zealots. In the end, Trigger, he will force this back. At the same time, drop into the main base is going to be shut down, killing the War Prism. And ByuN defends. ByuN, he defends back at home. He pulls back with his main army. ByuN did lose his tanks, but he does preserve his bio. Does preserve the Marines and Marauders. Behind this, did claim his third base. It's going to be on Trigger to apply pressure. Without that War Prism, though, there's nothing to distract. And can Trigger deny the third? I mean, ByuN did just lose 2 tanks. True. Now he has a weaker position. Trigger going for the middle line. Nope. That's a lot of Marauders. Oh my god. Yeah, a couple of Vikings in the mix as well. God, he's holding on. But again, you can already see the difference between this game and the last, where Trigger has map control. Straight up. He has map control. He's got his 4th base. You can get a 5th base behind this as well. ByuN is stuck at home defending. Now we have a 3rd Colossus rallying in. With 3 Colossus, I mean, Trigger, he can threaten those Marauders. He can threaten. The Zealots are coming from behind. Colossus, they swipe away at the army. The boys are being pulled. ByuN getting desperate. Ooh, we're losing too much. Yeah, losing so many SCVs here. Critical damage. Nice juggling. Juggles well, but Trigger has to get out of here. He has to get out. Geo Saber is welcome. And Trigger, he may lose everything. We have Zealots coming in from behind. The Colossus, they barely pull away. The juggling. Oh my god. He's crazy. Saves the Colossus. GG, gets called, doesn't lose a single one. And Trigger, he breaks the third. And Trigger will claim the series 2-1. GG. Whew, GG, well played. A very impressive play there by Trigger. Again, Trigger, he was able to regain map control, push out across the map, capitalizing on ByuN losing those tanks. As we mentioned, if ByuN didn't push earlier, if he had stayed back at home with his tanks and with his army, it would have been a much stronger defense there, and most likely the game would have continued in towards a longer game. But instead, Trigger, he committed here on towards that third base, committing with more Zealots with his 3 Colossus, and again, very impressive control, keeping them all alive. Despite the fact that ByuN had a heavy Marauder army, the juggling there with the micro with the Colossus didn't lose a single one. GG, well played. Trigger, he does claim the series, and with that, Trigger, he will advance on to the playoffs. ByuN is knocked down. He is knocked down to the lower brackets, to the decider match instead. GG, well played. And with that, we are here to determine who will join ByuN in the decider match. Up next is going to be the elimination match. Here we go, a best of 3 between Hero and Scarlet.